Hello, this is Steve Kaufman. I'm going to get back to this whole subject of the Korean golfers. I mean, we talk about the Ladies Professional Golf Association, which is based in the United States, that has come out recently and said that their members will have to be able to give interviews in English and so forth. It more or less has been identified that the main target is the Korean golfers because the Koreans are so dominant. Now there are Mexican and Taiwanese and I don't know what other foreign golfers, but they either don't do very well or in the case of those that do well, they speak English well. So there's been this tremendous reaction. All of the professional anti-racist organizations are up in arms. It's an opportunity for them to strut their stuff. The Asian American Academics Association and all kinds of hand-wringing is going on, and I mean, I just think I'm just amazed. No one said that you have to speak English in order to play golf somewhere. This is not about discrimination. The LPGA is a product. It's a brand name, and the people who run that brand name have the right to decide what to expect of their players. And if they feel that it's important for their players to be able to communicate through acceptance speeches when they win, through interviews, interacting with key sponsors. To me, they can decide what the requirements of the job are. I don't understand the issue. Yeah, there may be people who don't like seeing so many Koreans on the ladies' golf tour. There may even be people within the LPGA who feel that way, for all I know. There are maybe Americans who don't like Koreans. There's probably Koreans who don't like Americans. That's not against the law. And the people at the LPGA didn't say, we don't like Koreans, we don't want Koreans, we don't want foreigners. All they said was, we want our players to be able to communicate in English. They said effectively. Now, to me, that's not difficult. If those foreign players are in the United States for months and months and months, and they have time, and they're young, and they had English at school, if they're motivated, they can learn enough to conduct an interview. And they don't need a tutor. They don't need Rosetta Stone. What they need is an iPod, either one of these or the little shuffle that I use, and it would not be difficult to create a whole bunch of sample interviews or to take some interviews that other English speakers give, provide transcript, and have these players listen to these interviews for hours and hours. And then, if they're really smart, they would come to Link. And then they would be able to use our system to learn the language from this material. That's all they need to do. In 6 months, they would all be able to give interviews. The worst thing would be if the LPGA hired some group of language teachers to come up with a test, which is going to test them for grammatical accuracy. Nobody is interested in these Korean players' grammatical accuracy. The LPGA wants them to be able to communicate at some level. Now, it may be that these Korean players are under the impression that they have to speak perfect English. No. And that would be very silly. If the LPGA said they have to achieve some level on some test, that would be very silly. Just to be able to communicate so that the fans and sponsors can actually directly hear what this player has to say in a language that they can understand. I don't think that there is, abundant racism. I don't think Tiger Woods or Michelle Wie have hurt professional golf. I know that many of these sports organizations are interested in taking their product abroad into Asia. Lots of people live in Asia, Japan, Korea, China, and have made efforts in that direction. I don't know what the LPGA has done. So, yeah, there may be individual people who don't like certain other people, but the issue here, why don't just keep it simple? What they've said is, we want our players to be able to communicate in interviews in English. What's so difficult? And I know, and I'm take the opportunity to toot my own horn, but link would work for them better than any Rosetta Stone. And there's abundant interviews and conversations that transcripts can be provided, and all these players have to do is listen for 6 months, and they would be quite capable of providing an interview. I mean, in my own case, we don't have Korean on Link, but the principle is the same. A lot of listening, reading, and working on vocabulary. It's what we make more efficient at Link, but that's basically how you learn languages. Don't bother giving your interview for 6 months. Don't bother even talking for 6 months. Don't get a tutor. Don't waste your time. Just get out your iPod and listen a lot and get the language into your brain. Now, I did that with Korean about 3 or 4 years ago. I did it for about 6 months. An hour a day here and there, and it's been 3 years, so I've forgotten a lot. But I'm going to say a few words in Korean just to demonstrate that one needn't be afraid of making mistakes, and what I'm about to say is going to be full of mistakes. But it doesn't matter, because a Korean person will understand me, and I mean, they don't care about me speaking Korean, but if I were a pro golfer that had just won the Korean Golf Championship, and I was interviewed and was able to say something in Korean, the fans would appreciate it. That would make me popular. They would want me back. So now here goes my Korean. 안녕하세요. 제가 3년 전에 한국어 조금 공부했습니다. 한국 여자 골퍼는 영어 공부 하고 원하면 어렵지 않아요. 제일 중요한 것은 많이 듣고 읽고 해야 합니다. 재미있는 내용을 매일 많이 듣고 읽고 하고 단어는 복습하고 육 개월 공부하면 제가 그 사람들이 아주 유창히 영어 말할 수 얘기 많이 anyway, you get the picture. I'm struggling, okay? I haven't been at it for a while. So, but if I decided, I mean, particularly in the case of giving interviews, I mean, the fact is that those interviews are pretty brain dead. Well, you know, I have to keep, an even keel out there, play one hole at a time, and focus on whatever. And I don't know what all they say, but there's not many different variations in the interview. So to develop the ability to do an interview is not that difficult. And I think the other thing is that they have to want to communicate. I mean, it's their tournament as much as it is, or at least it's their tour as much as it is anyone else's. They're part of that community. They are all together promoting that package. So they should want to be part of the community, talk to the other golfers, do things to make it better. And I read in an interview that Seri Park and some of the other Korean golfers said, yeah, they don't like the fact that they're going to be fined or kicked out or something, obviously, but they agree with the principle. And apparently they haven't done enough to get better despite pressure from the LPGA. So now there's been this publicity, and I think it's a good thing, and I think we're going to see them all do a better job with their English. And that's what I have to say.